What a beautiful, terrifying film about abuse. The girl playing the daughter and the parents, wonderful performances. The music was so subtle and sad during some of the scary times in the film. I love the smoky lighting, and I love the fact that the beginning is at the end and the end is at the beginning to truly underscore the confusion of the girl. Why would mom go back to dad when he is so violent with her? I also appreciated the domestic hotline at the end. It was a gorgeous film, sad but very lovely.
The cast in this one was fantastic, and the characters were very powerfully written. Um, my favourite thing about it was probably the non-linear circular storytelling. I thought it was a very clever choice, perfectly pitched to bring a new meaning to the opening and closing scenes. Having the girl as the POV character was a great way to show a black and white perspective on an issue that those mired within the violence might try to claim is grey. I think this one's going to sit with me for a really long time.
Original way of taking or tackling this topic of domestic abuse.
This one does a really good job at portraying the effects of domestic abuse without being at all gratuitous about it. It really does well at shining a light on the effect it has on the family, and namely the young daughter whose POV we follow throughout the film. We see how it changes the way she interacts with her parents and her peers, and is just really smartly done, and great performances all around, especially by the young actor herself, and just a really good job. Now, one thing it does on a technical level in film, which some people like, some people don't, is a sort of flashback thing where the story is going along, it stops, and it goes back to an earlier point in time and starts from there and goes forward. Then it stops and it goes back even further in time and goes forward from there, so that the whole story unfolds in a sort of reverse order, which I think is kind of the point. It's trying to show the cycle, and the cycle of domestic abuse and how difficult it can be to escape that. So it's a really smart technique used brilliantly for that in that context, and I think it's worth checking out.
I really liked the filming of this. I liked how it was filmed in reverse. I thought it was very effective and in capturing to watch. And then it's very symbolic of the cyclical nature of domestic abuse and how the cycle continues not only within the relationship, but also generationally. And we see that when the daughter, Alina, deals with the playground bully by physically hurting him rather than using her words, which is obviously what she has seen at home. And I thought it built tension really, really nicely. And it was beautifully shot. And I think that everybody did a really great job.
Poignant and powerful film, some wonderful direction. Playing with the timeline was really, really clever. And the young actress was a real find. She was extraordinary, and her face told so much without having to really utter a word. And I really got wrapped up in that world that you created.
And so the structure was really quite effective. Kind of the memento going back through the story backwards. Really, really tactfully done.
The way the story's told backwards, I thought it was really clever. In my opinion, it made it even more interesting.
I admire that you weren't spoon-fed what the story was, that you had to try and ponder it and figure it out for yourself. The score, I thought, was very useful in terms of when it needed to be in the background, it was in the background, and when it needed to go into the foreground, it went to the foreground and helped support what was going on with the story. I do think the film was very good at depicting the perplexity that a young child goes through as she tries to navigate what their parents are going through. So I thought the ambiguity, the film straddled that ambiguity and that perplexity and confusion that a young child goes through quite well. So I thought that was very much a bonus.
This was a beautifully done film. It reminded me of something that I learned when I was first starting to study the practice. In essence, you're told that when you're watching a production or reading a script or play, nothing is coincidental, nothing is put there by accident or written in by accident, meaning that everything has some sort of purpose. It should be meaningful and intentful. I really felt that that stood true in this short. Considering the depth of the subject matter, I think all the elements implemented were really thoughtful and made your film impactful. And I'd like to quickly single out Ella, I've written down here, playing lead, Alina. Your character development was stunning, just really, really beautiful. And all those natural, stunning moments that we saw were accented and just complemented very well by the score and the cinematography.
It did a really great job of tackling the frustration and fear from the child's perspective. It's really gut-wrenching, and I think it's a unique perspective on a story that is unfortunately all too common. Really well told and really well shot.
She was wonderful. The story gave me very deep emotions. It made me reflect about what really children think in those situations that are very common in many families. And I just wanted to say thank you for this beautiful video.
The most memorable feature of the film's cycle is that closing shot of Elena as she sort of silently accepts the destructive mechanisms behind the cycle of her abusive father and apologetic mother.
Really well done. I can't speak highly enough of the impact. And since I was 13, I've been working with women to empower them to move out of whatever situation they're in. But I've never seen something that has captured subtly the nuance of domestic violence without words. And it's really powerful. It spoke volumes to me, and it's something that I'd be happy for my children to watch. They're older and they will understand it.